Once you realize what Nika Diwa is actually doing with her TikTok account, you'll never be able to unsee it.
Bombastic side-eye. Criminal offensive side-eye.
Because listen, if there's ever a TikTok trend with a group of black guys in the back, she's going to find a way to make it about her husband somehow. And if you scroll long enough on TikTok, you'll eventually slide right past the sweet family vloggers and land straight on the weird, creepy side of TikTok.
It was a whole African baby and you wanted to shoot.
I need to buy a gun.
There's a whole dark corner of the app where creators treat their black partners and mixed kids like rare Pokemon cards just to get views and brand deals.
It got worse. But I feel like it's about to get worse off.
And the creator doing the absolute most right now is Nika Diwa. We're talking about faking drama, using her in-laws as props, and posting crazy stuff that her kids are going to have to explain when they get older. She's running wild. This is the negrophilia of Nika Diwa. Okay. Negrophilia is a heavy word. I know it sounds like something out of a sociology class, but to break it down simply, it goes back to 1920s Paris when rich white people become weirdly obsessed with black art, jazz, and culture. They treated blackness like this trendy, exotic accessory that they could show off to their friends. Fast forward a century later, and Nika is running the digital version of this. Her entire platform feels like an interactive zoo exhibit she's curating for views, and the main attraction is always her husband and kids.
A whole African husband watching my pregnant wife eat a whole African meal with her half-African baby.
A whole African husband, a whole African meal, a half-African baby. The constant need to force that label onto literally everything is just wild. It's almost like she thinks everything about her family is like collecting infinity stones. I mean, when you constantly refer to your partner like that, you're stripping away his actual personality. You'd think maybe this is just a weird captioning habit, but then you watch more of her videos.
Tired of this bullshit? Last time it was a whole African baby and you wanted to shoot.
I need to buy a gun.
Why are we acting like pushing out an African baby takes some kind of extreme superhuman toll compared to anyone else? She's leaning so heavily into this racist stereotype that black bodies are biologically different, larger, or more aggressive. So having him flex his biceps while she stresses over pushing is like a straight up dog whistle. She's reducing him entirely to his anatomy, basically winking at the audience to imagine this giant baby he put in her. The husband also stands there like he doesn't see what's happening. And this does more harm than you know. It feeds into the exact same logic that fuels real-life medical racism, turning a systemic issue into a quick TikTok joke. Anyways, playing the main character because you date outside your race only works until real life ruins the supposed aesthetic. And when that happens, you just move on to something still ridiculous.
Watching my gangster husband become a dad gangster? Okay, girl, whatever. But hold on, what happened to the bonus kids, though? How can he become a daddy if he already a fucking dad? That's the son he got them child charges on. Let's not forget. 2 years after you married him. Child charges what you mean by gangster? Left his underage son home alone to go get drunk and then drank and to the hospital to go yell at the police for taking his son. Sir, you was
This man literally already had 2 daughters and a son before they even met, and she's acting like this is brand new. She wants that Wattpad storyline of the innocent girl taming the wild street guy so desperately that it sucks. This man was already domestic before he met you. She just wants to squeeze him into a thug stereotype because it sells better. She needs him to be that gangster so she gets to play the savior. And if she easily fakes her husband's past, you know she's doing the exact same thing to her kids. Be for real. Are you trying to tell us that a baby who hasn't even started forming sentences looked at an animated lion and connected it to her African grandma? Come on. Nika was just looking for a way to just throw the word African in the caption for views. Her desperation to flex how close she's to blackness means hijacking whatever's trending. Like, do you remember when the whole internet was obsessing over that Aaron Pierre video?
Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa.
Yeah, Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. People were genuinely hyping up this man's features and voice in a really positive celebration of black masculinity, but Nika? Nah. She obviously couldn't let that moment breathe without making it about what she owns.
Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre.
POV, I live without the Mufasa. What the?
She's like, can't you all see that I live with all the Mufasas? Therefore, she's lining up her husband and his relatives to show them off like background extras in a movie about her life. And this isn't a one-off thing. If it was, we might give her a pass, but she does this constantly. She's always posting with a group of black people with her at the front and them at her back.
Listen, if there's ever a trend of a group of niggas in the back, Nika Diwa, she'll be there, relating it to her black husband some way, somehow. Calling him your brother?
Bombastic side-eye. criminal, offensive.
Treating them like they're props is just wild to watch. Look at this next one.
What you say about my brother? Stay away from my brother. I say so.
When these are your big brothers, but you have Chihuahua energy. I mean, if the joke was genuinely just about having big brothers, she could have used her Filipino brothers, right? No, she specifically enjoys having black men stand behind her in these videos just to highlight how much of a difference a small Asian woman next to big black men looks like on camera. It is so calculated. And the way she treats these men is honestly just the warm-up for the energy she aims directly at her mother-in-law.
Fighting with my husband when my African mother-in-law walks in, she starts doing African moves. Like, what? How is that not fucking racist?
Look at what she's doing here. The sudden switch up, the weird, exaggerated, fake scared dance. She's pushing the aggressive African woman stereotype as hard as she can, making it feel like a bad 90s sitcom trope, but she's using her actual mother-in-law as a prop to act it out. And she just keeps leaning into this idea that African people are inherently loud and hostile. It's like she has this constant need for her own family. Everything has to be labeled African to make sure the audience never forgets she's in an interracial space. But then she also takes that label and attaches it directly to negative stereotypes.
Noise, what? Here we go with that same loud African stereotype. Oh my god, I thought it was a fight, but these gorillas are just chatting and yapping. Like, aren't you a fucking Filipina? Y'all parties are so loud.
But who's this actually for? Because every black person watching knows exactly what this microaggression feels like. It's that exact same energy when black people are just talking normally and a non-black person steps in and tells them to calm down or stop yelling. By captioning it, just Africans having a normal convo, it's like she's saying that there's an innate aggression in how they speak. In her world, there's normal conversation and then there's African conversation. More so, the way she treats her everyday interactions with her mother-in-law like she's trying to survive a beast is wild.
Bush. Here she goes again, performing as if people in Nigeria are still getting on their hands and knees to greet their mother-in-laws. Such a fucking act.
The performative respect in this is just a setup for the most damaging part of this in-law content, like how she manufactures this fake life or death fear of her husband's mother just for engagement.
When you finally get the courage to stand up, but she's Nigerian. Like, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean? You can't get a word in just because she's African? I'm confused here.
Why does standing up to her have to be connected to her being Nigerian? She's telling her audience that the danger comes directly from her mother-in-law's nationality, and she doubles down on this exact phrasing.
I have a Nigerian mom. Of course.
Of course. You said of course. What?
Of course, I thank God for her every single day.
Oh, that's what I thought. All right.
Risking my life again doing this trend with my Nigerian mother-in-law. If you consume this at just surface level, you might think that this is just harmless mother-in-law jokes, but hey, look at the exact words she uses. By explicitly saying my Nigerian mother-in-law, the stigma of black women being violent and angry does all the heavy lifting. The viewer's brain fills in the blanks for her. She's pushing a deeply xenophobic narrative, disguising it as a TikTok trend and tossing her mother-in-law to an audience that she knows will eat the stereotype up. And when she isn't making her mother-in-law look violent, she plays into these ridiculously outdated gender roles to mock the culture she married into. Tell me, what's the message here? She's pretending her African mother-in-law would lose her mind seeing a man cook. It paints the mother as this terrifying enforcer of patriarchy. And because it got views, she literally repeated the exact same joke. This is purely performative nonsense. And she keeps making these because she found a formula that gets clicks by throwing her in-laws under the bus. Plus, when she tries to actually appreciate the culture instead of mocking it, it somehow gets even worse because she just makes things up.
Long live the king, king, you know it. King already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already.
I love the internet because they'll call you out in real time, but the fake traditions don't stop at dancing.
Sasa, Rock the Just presenting Shipana.
Sweet mother.
Right? Which part of Nigeria is this? Nowhere, because it's completely fabricated. She's just slapping the word African or Nigerian on absolutely anything she does because she knows her audience won't fact check it and the algorithm will reward her for it. And even when she interacts with her mother-in-law on a basic level, she frames it as a survival mission.
Rose,
Who you calling? Who you calling, Rose? Since when? I think I need to educate you some more. Should I take you to school again?
I'm not doing it again.
All right. We're gonna be respectful.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, Dr. Rose.
Oh, yes, that's much better. I love you.
I love you too, Dr. Rose.
Yes.
Dr.
Oh.
Again with the fake danger. Even the captions she used in the video says, "Not me risking my life for a TikTok trend." How is she risking her life? It's an exhausting cycle of turning this woman into a caricature for a quick viral moment, and when she runs out of mother-in-law content, she just aims at the entire continent.
No! No! No!
Look at what she's also implying here. She's leaning straight into the African time stereotype. You know, the running trope that African people are chronically late to everything and don't respect schedules. Now, let's keep it 100. Joking about the timing of parties is a massive inside joke within the culture. Anyone who's ever been to a Nigerian wedding or function knows exactly how the timing works. But why does it feel so weird and off-putting when Nika does it? Well, it's because she isn't laughing with the community. She's packaging it as another exotic, look at how wild and different these Africans are exhibit for an outside audience. She takes a shared cultural quirk and weaponizes it into such a way that it becomes a spectacle for engagement, and this cultural clash takes a completely dark turn when we look at her conversations with her father.
Daddy, question. How did you feel when you found out I was gonna marry a man from Africa?
Oh, it makes the most natural sense.
Okay, why?
Stop right there and look at what she wrote in the caption. Why phrase it exactly like that if not that she's completely baiting her audience? If you aren't paying attention, you might think she's just implying that her dad was shocked she dated outside her culture, but if you actually know how this works, there's a very real deep-rooted colorism that exists in a lot of Asian cultures, including the Philippines. There's a specific stigma against dating black men, whereas dating a white man wouldn't get that same negative reaction. She knows exactly who she's baiting with this setup, and she's leading her audience to expect a racist reaction from her immigrant dad for the views. But then her dad answers, and it somehow gets even worse.
Because a man from Africa, a very powerful group of people. That's what you need.
Oh my. The fetishization is literally coming from inside the house. Her dad doesn't say it makes sense because her husband's a great guy or because he treats her well. Nah, he goes straight to a powerful group of people. We're right back to that hyper-masculinization of black men. It reduces her husband to pure muscle and dominance. But wait, because the dad's not done talking.
You're a woman that has to be tamed.
A woman that has to be tamed. Let that sink in ASAP. First, it pushes this gross sexist narrative that a woman is basically a wild animal that needs a man to domesticate her. But look at which type of man he says is required for the job. By saying she needs a powerful African man to handle her, he's subtly throwing shade at Filipino men and basically himself, right? He's basically saying that Asian men aren't traditionally manly or strong enough to tame her. It's layer upon layer of racism, and stereotyping caught on camera that she edited and uploaded like it was a cute family moment. And when you just think deeply about these things, you'd start to notice a really weird pattern with how she treats her own culture compared to how she exploits her husband's. That's definitely a very valid question. Why is the entire channel focused on African this, Nigerian that, black this? Where's the Filipino representation? Well, the internet called it out completely. She only ever brings up her Filipino roots if she can use it for poverty tourism. Taking your mixed kid to a shelter in the Philippines just to use impoverished people as a disciplinary prop to teach her kid to finish their food, it shows exactly how her brain works. She uses her husband's culture for an exotic, high-energy aesthetic, and she uses her own culture's struggles as a prop. And speaking of how she treats those kids, guys, the way Nika and creators just like her treat their biracial kids is like trendy, limited edition accessories rather than actual human beings, and that's a massive issue.
Afternoon. What can I do for you?
I need to buy a gun.
I need to buy it, God. I have to birth the beast. Are you African, bitch? How is the baby a whole African? That f***ing donkey in the back flexing for what? Are you giving birth to a poly baby? You know African babies are statistically smaller, right? Last time I stitched this video, you got it deleted because I told you, you still push the same way, no matter what type of baby you having. Can't take the truth? How is this even funny? To joke about yourself because you have to give birth to a black baby? Be so fucking for real, Nika. Just cause your name sounds like it don't make you one.
Who's ultimately going to pay the price for this content? The kids, obviously. I mean, the digital footprint's forever. Millions of mixed kids are going to grow up, log online, and see their parents using their existence and racial makeup for cheap clout. And Nika does this relentlessly. Even if she tries to pass this off as a joke, why is the punchline always rooted in ownership and race? The phrasing is incredibly dehumanizing. She treats a human child like a lease on a car that she's returning to the dealership, and she talks about her own biological children with that same weird energy.
These Nigerian babies built different. It takes two of us to hold her down and give medicine.
Here she is, acting like her own child is an entirely different species just because they're half Nigerian. I'm sure you'd agree with me that giving medicine to a toddler is universally a nightmare. Every parent struggles with it, but she just has to slap the Nigerian label on it and tell us that her baby is somehow wilder or physically harder to handle than a normal baby. It's wildly problematic to alienate your own kid like that, isn't it? And Nika isn't just the only one doing this. There's a whole epidemic of families on TikTok turning their kids' genetics into a viral game.
It got worse, but I feel like it's about to get worse. It got worse. It got worse.
Look at what's happening in this trend. Running out of ink, they're lining other children up to show a color gradient. This just reduces these actual living human beings to just their skin tone for a 10-second viral sound, and the creators who do this just keep doubling down.
I just to the neck, but now I'm trophied up. I'm saying like, bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Bing, bop.
I mean, 12 children just lined up like a printer cartridge running out of toner. It's weird behavior, please. I mean, you're teaching your kids that their most valuable, interesting trait for the internet is which shade of brown they happen to be born with. And people just keep on piling on these things.
Last. Now everybody go to breakfast.
Your biggest flex? You brought a human into the world, and your biggest flex isn't that they're healthy or kind or smart. Your biggest flex is their racial makeup. Why are you treating a child exactly like a designer handbag? Like a Birkin that you can show off to prove your social status. And the crazy thing is that you see this specific aesthetic pushed everywhere.
Walking at the city with my mixed South Sudanese Filipina baby. Why she's...
Notice what's missing here. There's no actual context to the video. It's literally just her stating her baby's exact genetic mix while walking down the street. It's the definition of using your kid as a prop to get engagement from the fetish community. But that's not even the end of it. Here's another peek of this unhinged behavior. Having spite babies to prove a point to your racist mom is completely crazy. She's trying to hype up other white girls for using black men to breed revenge babies. But here's what the biracial creator in the stitch actually says in response. She calls out the fact that if her mother ever used her existence as a prop to get back at her racist grandparents, it would be a massive betrayal.
If my white mother ever used my existence, the existence of my black biracial brother and sister as a prop, as an accessory, as an example.
Why? Because bringing a human into the world purely to spite your parents means that child is nothing but an object to you. It means you objectified a black man to create a biracial child just to win an argument. This entire subgenre of TikTok doesn't see mixed children as people, it sees them as content, and the way they treat their hair is just as bad. You literally cannot scroll through that side of TikTok without hitting the mandatory struggle videos about hair and skin. It's become an entire subgenre of content farming where creators act like they're solving a Rubik's Cube just by trying to parent their own kids.
Okay, question for anybody that knows hair. My baby is black, and she has hair like her father's, where it's very dry in the back.
Why do they say the word black like it's a jump scare? And if you actually look at the video, that baby's hair doesn't even look dry, but she needs to emphasize the race to make sure the audience knows she's doing the hard work of parenting a child with melanin.
So hair is really special. We're trying to figure it out as we go along. Look at that curl back there. So curly back there, and then here it's like wavy.
Then we have Nika acting like her daughter's hair is some kind of high-stakes survival mission. She's giving Discovery Channel energy over a few curls, like no one in the history of the world has ever dealt with baby hair before. She really tries to frame it like she's a pioneer exploring uncharted territory just by picking up a brush. It's that classic white savior trope where she wants to trophy just for doing basic parenting tasks.
Mixed baby hair is beautiful, but it's also very confusing. I don't know if it is more like black hair, more like Asian hair. It's just like somewhere in the middle. I'm realizing that like the rules for black hair and Asian hair on the opposite extremes don't necessarily apply to my daughter. Like, is gel better than mousse? You know, does she need curl defining cream? All these things. If you have any advice, I'd sure appreciate it.
Which hair are you struggling with, Nika? The baby barely has hair. But no, she wants the brownie points and the, oh, you're such a good mom for learning comments.
Hold on, what? Nika said, wait, what did you say?
And then you use the brush. Why are there so many brushes? Why are there so many brushes?
It's always a cycle with this one. Who do you think she's doing it for? It's not for the daughter, but the audience. She's using her child's head as a stage to show off how close she is to her black in-laws. Like, just do the hair and stop disturbing us. And what about the lotion? Oh my God.
Stop acting like a f***ing hooligan. I know your mama raised you in a barn, but around these parts, we have some decorum, okay?
She treats using Palmer's or a tub of Vaseline like it's some ancient secret ritual she just stumbled upon in a cave, acting like putting moisturizer on a child is a whole personality trait just because the child happens to be black. It's that same, look how wild and different they are trope she's been riding for years, and it's honestly just getting exhausting to watch.
Stop acting like a f***ing hooligan. I know your mama raised you in a barn, but around these parts, we have some decorum, okay?
She literally cannot stop herself. She's milking the black people love Vaseline joke until there's absolutely nothing left. She knows that stereotyping her own family is the only thing that keeps her numbers up and the engagement going, so she just keeps hitting that same button over and over.
Y'all, we're gonna have to come up with a sunblock for kids that have melanin. Because my daughter's literally white. Like, that ain't it. So do you guys know of any sunblocks for kids for brown girls that don't look white?
Honestly, which part of this is supposed to be a struggle? Just rub the sunscreen in, girl. It's not a science project. She's so desperate to find a problem that only exists because her child is black. It's like she's out here hunting for an inconvenience just so she can get views for solving it. She wants the audience to think she's doing some specialized heavy-duty labor just to keep her kid protected from the sun. But it goes from annoying to straight up harmful very fast because she's telling the world that black kids are just harder to care for. Look at this next creator.
Dear black people,
Here we go.
I would like to personally apologize to you guys. For years, I used to judge your guys' hair. Like, I see like tiny little balls of white stuff just floating throughout your hair. And I would say, don't they ever comb it and wash it? And I used to make fun of you guys because you would never like get your hair wet. And I used to scoff at you guys because your hair would be like so oily looking. And I want to apologize for that. Because now I understand what you all go through. Now my son, he's not 100% black. He is mixed. And I brushed his hair, I washed his hair, and I combed it out, and I'm still getting out tangles, I'm still getting out little hairballs, I'm still getting out little fuzz balls, I'm still getting out pine needles because he decided to put pine needles in his hair. And when I have it combed out and it gets wet, it shrinks to his head. And it is a nightmare to comb through.
My stomach actually turned. She's being incredibly aggressive with that comb, just yanking it through his curls without a care in the world. She's calling her own son's hair a dirty nightmare for millions of people to see. And look at the words she chooses. Dear black people. Why start the video like that? She's literally picking a fight with an entire community while she films herself causing her son actual physical pain. Just look at his face. He's clearly in distress, he's wincing, and she's just staring at the camera like she's the one being victimized.
I made a video yesterday asking about some hair care tips for my son who's biracial. I want to thank the mamas who gave me some good advice on what some different things I can put in his hair to help me after he slept in it. It's pretty soft still. Now I'm sure some of you would like for me to address my last video. Not the actual video of me making the braid. The video of me referencing how dirty it still seems to be even after I've washed it and combed it out because his curls holds onto like everything. And the one where I said, yeah, my son's hair is a nightmare to comb through. I'm not sure what y'all want me to say. His hair is a nightmare to comb through, and it still appears to be dirty sometimes after I've washed it and combed it because his curls holds onto everything, which is why I made the video, so I can come on here and get some advice on how to care for my son's hair properly. And some of you are concerned that one day he will see this video in the future, and oh my gosh, he will think that his mom thought horrific thoughts about his hair. but I'm sure he's gonna be more focused on the encouraging and uplifting comments you all left.
It's almost like these creators think they have an "I'm not racist, my son is black" card in their back pocket. They treat their kids like a get out of jail free card to shield themselves from any kind of accountability. Do they really think having a black child gives them a permanent pass to stay ignorant and loud? She refuses to apologize. She refuses to actually learn a better technique from people who know what they're doing, and she just keeps using her son's discomfort for a viral moment. It's honestly gross.
All my life I want money and power, respect my mind, or die from last child. I pray my big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I feel amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix, my mind.
Who are you even trying to impress with this? Again, parenting is work for literally everyone on earth. Every parent is tired. But for those creators, the work isn't about the kid at all. They want to be seen as these brave, tired pioneers, while their kids are just sitting there being used as props for a brand deal or some likes. They're making their children's basic needs look like an Olympic sport just for the "good job, mama" comments. And then there's Miss Jenkins.
Listen, you're finna hate me for this one, but this is my 5th child, okay? Gentle parenting don't do shit. I will not raise my kids with gentle parenting. You got me bent back sideways.
Girl, why are you talking like that? That her forced black scent is physically painful to listen to. She really thinks that a version of blackness that makes her look real or authentic is by acting like she doesn't believe in gentle parenting. Meanwhile, what she's doing is feeding right into that ugly stereotype that black parenting has to be aggressive or loud just to be correct. There's just little to zero boundary these people won't cross for a check. And I mean, they're always crossing the line. Yes, you saw that clearly, and I need us to actually process this. You're talking about a newborn, a baby that's been on Earth for 5 minutes, and you're bringing cooch juice into the caption for millions of strangers to see. It's just vile. I mean, this woman knows exactly which audience is lurking, and she's winking at a fetish community while using her infant as a setup for a joke. And it's not just her own body. She's out here sexualizing these kids before they even know how to tie their shoes.
Nicki Minaj, is that you? Nikki, let's go to the beach. Let's go get away. They ain't saying what they gonna say. Grab a drink, quick. Nicki Minaj.
Be so for real right now. You're putting words in your child's mouth that are clearly meant to be provocative just for a watch time boost. You're stripping away your kids' privacy and dignity before they can even consent to being on camera, before they can understand what a camera is, before they have any say in any of this. And she has to know people are saving this for the wrong reasons. There's no version of reality where she doesn't know that. She's been on the internet long enough. She's seen the comments. She just doesn't care because caring would cut into the numbers.
This area right here, this is your...
There were so many saves on this one. It's scary. If I'm a parent and I see thousands of people saving a video of my kid listening to me talk about parts, I'm deleting the app and throwing my phone in the ocean. Not this clout chaser though. After all, she was the one that recorded the video herself, edited and uploaded it. She keeps feeding the monster because it keeps her relevant.
Listen, if my toddler found my special drawer, I'm snatching that shit up. I'm not pulling my fucking phone out to film it and letting her rub it on her goddamn neck. This is supposed to be an embarrassing story she tells her friends as a teenager. Instead, mom's filming it and letting her rub it on her neck for views.
Wait, can you please give it? No. Well, don't rub it on your neck.
See, this is what we're talking about. A normal person would have snatched that out of the toddler's hands so fast, but Nika had time to pull out her phone, open TikTok, frame the shot, and record her toddler holding an adult toy, all for a POV joke. She's so narcissistic that it bleeds into where it shouldn't.
The manager would just be like, cool.
I'm shaking right now because my black husband was pretty sure just racially profiled at a grocery store. I'm not going to drop the name and the location, as tempting as that is, because there is a larger issue at hand.
So, her black husband just got victimized by systemic racism. He was the one profiled. He's the one who was disrespected. So why is she the one on camera?
Just it happens. I'm allowed to be frustrated, and not even like an apology. Not even the slightest apology. Not even an acknowledgement.
He's literally consoling her while she records herself for being a sad ally. Nika, his trauma is not your content. His experience is not your arc, but that's exactly what it became. Anyway, you know by now that Nika's not a standalone issue. She's a symptom of an entire content ecosystem that figured out black men, black culture, biracial children, and interracial relationships generate massive engagement, and engagement generates income. So these creators, and there are a lot of them, are monetizing stereotypes. Sadly though, the kids never signed up to be the main attraction. African. They didn't consent to their hair struggle series. They didn't consent to the ink trend. They didn't consent to being called a rented black baby or a rare Pokemon or someone's biggest flex. They just exist, and their existence is being farmed. Just to put the actual scale of this into perspective, the multiracial population in the United States went from around 9 million in 2010 to almost 34 million in 2020. That is not a small number. That's tens of millions of real human beings who are going to grow up, get their own phones, open their own social media accounts, and find a massive permanent digital footprint of their parents using their DNA for clout. That content is not going anywhere. The internet is forever, and these kids are going to have to live in it. It's crazy.